So look at, you talked about the mattress girl. I think her name was Sulkowitz.
Emma Sulkowitz.
So you write about her, and so they had a kind of a trial for that guy. He was exonerated.
An investigation. No, it was never a trial. It was an investigation.
And they exonerated him, and she didn't like that.
After they kicked him out.
So she decided to wear a mattress around her back, and very performative. And here's what you say about it: Sulkowitz's sense of entitlement, her confident disregard for due process, the centerpiece of liberalism's rule of law,
not feminism,
her indifference to privacy of her alleged attacker and her own became realized in her performance as art. Like all endurance-based performance art, the senseless expenditure of physical effort is a display of the elite's absolute freedom from the necessity of physical labor. From this point of view, Sulkowitz's performance of mattress carrying makes a mockery of the physicality of manual labor. Most workers in the world still labor with their bodies and have to endure physical pain and hardship during a day's work. To choose physical endurance is the ultimate sign of the professional managerial class sovereignty. It should go without saying that Sulkowitz first and foremost objectified her own trauma. The performance allowed her a degree of disassociation, but it also gave her the platform upon which to make a bid for visibility, notoriety, fame, and celebrity. She became a one-woman placard publicizing a traumatic experience to make public something she had to endure in private. Sulkowitz, as an artist and a child of the professional managerial class elites, her parents are successful business psychologists in Manhattan. She was responding to, commenting on, and reproducing the regime of post-industrial work, a kind of work that entails the constant production of publicity, garnering activity in the name of self-branding. In the pursuit of justice, Sulkowitz became famous for her ability to turn private pain into public spectacle. People trained in this regime of symbolic manipulation love to weaponize outrage to fuel moral panics, but they are unable and unwilling to face their identity as a class. In the liberal professions, they police each other to enforce the sort of social and intellectual conformity required by their class, one that is fundamentally fragmented by competition and individualism. All professional managerial class approved policies about inequality, racism, and bias circle back to strengthening their sense of political agency and cultural and moral superiority. In a viciously competitive market environment, they have abandoned once cherished professional standards of research while fetishizing transgression, or better yet, the performance of
That's
transgression.
Great. She made a porn too, by the way. She went on to make a porn.
She went on to make a porn, that woman?
Yes. That's when I was like,
but it was also part of her art. It was a reenactment of her alleged sexual victimization.
Yeah, that's
and now she's not an artist anymore. But the really amazing thing is, like, a lot of allegedly feminist women in the art world, like Marina Abramović, said she was like the next great thing.
Yeah,
she did. Maria Abramović said she was the next great. You're kidding. That's wow.
Yeah. But you know what? Sulkowitz couldn't keep it up. Like, to her credit, she did not parlay this into a big art career. But I think it's really damaging for everyone involved, because she, turned her life inside out. And, there were signals that she was going to be rewarded for this. Like, I'm an old school person. Like, I actually believe in privacy and the dignity of private life. And it was just like, in that period of time, it was just like, let me tell you about everything that happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me, and I've been traumatized. I'm writing a book on trauma right now. And I feel like this kind of self-branding, as I say, is part of this vicious competition for resources and attention, even among PMC elites, because there's no guarantee of good, fulfilling, dignified jobs anymore. Yeah. And so there are people who are just like, I'm going to throw dignity out the window, and I'm going to get the most attention possible, because celebrity and notoriety on social media are highly profitable, monetizable. I think it's a tragedy for her, and it's a tragedy for Columbia University. But it's a tragedy for feminism too that it's come to this. And I am never going to forget that this is what Obama era liberalism produced. And I want to hold all of us to higher standards than the PMC elites want to hold us. And I feel like it's really sad about how real women's issues got totally ignored in the Me Too movement. Like working class women's issues were just not even considered. And there are basic bread and butter issues that, like Biden, to his credit, tried to put into place with the child tax credit. Because this is desperately what women need when they're working. Families need help with children, with childcare. And this is something that the government can do to activate that. The child tax credit has now expired.
Yeah.
But when it was in place, it reduced the rate of child poverty during COVID. Child poverty in America is now going up again. But, why aren't feminists like on this? Because PMC women have fewer children. They like to think it's cool to be anti-family. And they're kind of like part of this new left, just want to distance themselves from trad life. Although now it's like come around horseshoe style. But unfortunately, we still reproduce in the organic biological way. Women have children. Women need certain things when they have children. And you have a whole cadre of feminists in the Democratic Party that can't really focus on these issues. And you can't just go and rely on the family anymore. We need better infrastructural supports for people in America who want to have families, who want to have children. And you know what is really what keeps me up at night is the fact that there are some crazy statistics that said that 3 out of 5 children in America have known hunger. It's the richest country in the world. How did this happen?
It happened.
Letting this happen.
It happened because Bill Clinton, the people who are supposed to represent workers, who are supposed to represent those women and feminism and children who are hungry and poverty, they don't. They virtue signal and do the exact opposite. So Bill Clinton adopts the right wing rhetoric, and then when he demolishes welfare, what he does is he puts in a work requirement for mothers that they have to work. And what he doesn't also put in is childcare so that they can actually go get a job. Right. So they don't have any childcare, so they now can't get their welfare to help with their children because they don't have any they have nowhere to do with their kids when they're supposed to go get this goddamn job.